This is the Metro Housing Boston website where you can apply for RAFT for the greater Boston area. Once you scroll down, you will see this red button that says complete this application. You can click on that and it will open up the page that will look like this for the application. They've included instructions. For this purpose, we will skip to number 5. It says you may be asked to attach some supporting documents throughout the application, such as your photo ID for household members 18 and over, birth certificates for household members under 18, social security cards. If you do not have one, that's okay. It won't affect your eligibility. So it may ask for a proof of income, and where applicable, they may ask for proof of type of housing, proof of housing crisis, or utility shut-off notice / utility overdue payment statements. They also ask that during this time of COVID-19, they don't want you to go out and seek your documents. So if you can't obtain your documents without leaving your house, then you can let them know. And we'll look at number 9. It says, please note that Metro Housing Boston may follow up to request verification to confirm the reported information. So they may ask for more documents after. Now, it says, I have read and understand the instructions and requirements detailed above for submitting a RAFT application. You will click yes and click next. And by the way, if you would like to save your application progress at any point, it does require an email. For COVID-19 certification, it's just asking here if your request is related to a situation that was caused or made worse by COVID-19. You do not have to have a connection to COVID-19 for approval. So if it is related to COVID-19, you can check this box and they will ask how COVID-19 caused a financial hardship for your household or worsened the situation. I will uncheck it for this purpose so we can move on to the application. And here it's asking for general household information. I will fill it out with fake information so we're able to move on. It's asking for your preferred language so that they can try their best to help you with the translator if need be. You will put your address and city and state. And for phone and email, you can fill that in. If you don't have one or the other, you can check it off. But phone or email is the way that they will follow up and contact you about the application. But I will check these so we can move on. And they ask if your mailing address is different than the address above. Will you be moving to a new apartment within the next 30 days? And here, if you'd like, you can include an emergency contact. Now, this has to do with your request for assistance. It asks here for you to briefly describe your housing situation. I'll put an example, behind on rent. Of course, they want you to say a little bit more than that, but it's dependent on your own personal situation. And the reason for this request, maybe you may say you lost your job and you're unemployed, so you're behind on rent. Okay, so you can fill these out according to your personal situation. Now, they'll ask, select the payments you request for your household. You can select more than one item, but your request may not exceed $4,000. So if I say I am behind on rent, say overdue rent, and let's say that is $2,000. So far they total up the cost of what you were requesting. And here they ask for verification of rent. They asked you to provide a copy of the first and signature page of your lease. And it'll ask for documents depending on what else you check off too. See, verification of mortgage, etc. Now it needs information on the household. It asks for a social security number, and you can put that in. If not, you can check you do not have one. It asks for a date of birth. Gender, race, ethnicity, and disability status is not required, so I will not fill it out, but feel free to fill it out on your own applications. And now they need some required documents. They need the photo ID and the birth certificate and a social security card if you have one. Are you reporting zero income? I will click yes. But if you do have some income, you would click no, and here it asks for your income. It asks you for the type, so you could put in wages or employment, or if you receive any of these things or additional support, and you could put in the amount and frequency. You can also add income as well if you receive multiple forms of it. Do you have additional household members to report? So if there is more than one person besides yourself in the household, you can click yes. They'll ask you to do it similarly to before, where you fill in your name, possibly the social security, birth, gender, relationship, so if they're your child or spouse, and these pieces of information. And they'll also ask for the documents. For example, if you have a child in your house, you can upload a birth certificate for that child. And if you can report their income as well, and add more members of your household if you need to. I will click no so we can move on. And it asks, are you sure you have entered all household members into this application? Yes. Income deductions. Some recurring payments may be deductible from your gross income for eligibility determination process, such as child support, etc., child care, or tuition and fees for vocationally related post-secondary education that is not full-time. Do you or a member of your household currently pay for any of the expenses listed above? If so, you can click yes, and it'll ask for a household member name, the expense, the amount, and the frequency, and you can add more if you need to. Otherwise, you can click no and move on. Current housing status. Select the option that best describes your current housing status. So you can say you live in public housing, and you would input your info of current monthly rent share. For example, 2,000, and you can put what you are overdue, and they'll ask for verification of the monthly rent. So you would upload a photo or a copy of the document. Next, current housing crisis. Select all that apply. So you can click overdue rent if that applies to you, but you can select any of these as well. If you're facing eviction, utility shutoff, leaving unsafe housing, etc. And they'll ask for a document for proof. You can attach your rent statement to show overdue rent. It must have at least 30 days of back rent due. So many of these things that you are filling out for the application will ask for documents as proof. Property owner information. You can fill in that information based off of your own personal one. And now for here on out, they mostly involve signatures for the rest of it. For steps 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, all you have to do is sign and put the date. These are all just signing and legal things to make sure you understand the conditions of the application. Once you sign all of these things, you can click submit. There will be some next steps. They may ask for verification with the Metro Housing case manager, and they may ask for more property owner documentation, just more documents to prove the situation you are in. But of course, as I said earlier in the video, Metro Housing Boston, there are some exceptions during COVID-19 right now, and you can find out more from the slide or on the website. Alternative options. If you do not qualify for RAFT or you get denied, you can apply for the Emergency Rental and Mortgage Assistance Program. This was created during COVID-19. It's very similar to RAFT. It provides direct funding to eligible households who have suffered financial hardship due to the COVID-19 pandemic and state of emergency. So if you apply for RAFT and you do not get accepted, you can then apply for this one, IRMA. On Metro Housing Boston, it happened to be a combined application. It said this is the application for RAFT and IRMA. So it'll depend on your regional agency. For more resources and videos, please go to this website here. We will have other videos and a video on the intake form that some regional agencies require before you do the RAFT application. And here is our contact information if you have any questions. Thank you for watching today, and we hope this video was helpful.